It's another mock draft, but this time we're doing it for points leagues. It's coming up. Michael Bolton, get yourself a slot.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and as you've probably seen, I've always been working to improve my graphic design skills. That's why they chose me to design or redesign the Cracker Barrel logo. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. So visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms. All right, we are doing a mock draft. We're going in and it's going to be a mock draft for points leagues. Now, I'm going to host some of these on Yahoo. It's just a lot harder to do. Yahoo does not give you the flexibility to host things when you're doing a show as easily. There's a lot of if someone doesn't make it, then you can only pause it for a certain amount of time. You can't indefinitely pause it, and then getting replacements is it's adjusting draft order. There's a lot more difficulty to it. I will do it. This one, though, will be Yahoo Points League, but hosted on Fantrax. It will be 12 teams. It'll be using default Yahoo roster construction. You know, the shit version with 2 centers for whatever reason and only 13 players. It won't have third round reversal, which I've learned some people take to be an insult to their families. If you have third round reversal, it's the worst thing you could possibly do. I've even had people tell me that it's better to have the 12th pick than the first in third round reversal, which of course is blatantly false. It's just incredibly incorrect. And third round reversal should be at the very least the default for snake drafts. But I'm not going to do that here, because when you go onto Yahoo and you choose a public league or you choose a default league, it won't give you that. It'll give you 13-man rosters, 2 centers, Yahoo points, non-third round reversal. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to pick at number 7 in this draft, and we'll see how it goes. As I like to do, because I don't like the flow of the mock drafts being interrupted, I'll tell you right now that today's episode is brought to you by Open Phone. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. The last time that you had an urgent need, you didn't wait for that guy to get back to you. You just found the next guy. That's why Open Phone is so important. It's the number 1 business phone system built to streamline and scale your customer communications all from an app on your phone or computer. Open Phone lets you manage business calls and text from that single app on your phone. You can let your team in on the shared inbox feature as well, so anyone can jump in and take up the conversation so you never miss a beat. And their AI agent handles the after-hours calls, answers common questions, and captures leads so you never miss a customer. Open Phone is offering you guys 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/lockedonnba. That is openphone, openphone.com/lockedonnba. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. August 26th, which is the date that it is for me right here. It might be the date that you listen to that. That is FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, your Super Bowl winner, or you're ready to crown a Super Bowl winner, but also look at your long shot division winners for all 8 divisions maybe. You could parlay them all together, I guess. You can check all that out before week 1 even kicks off. It is now your time to do it. So take the flyer on the MVP, put all of those long shot division winners into a big parlay and see where it comes out. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game and don't forget to gamble responsibly. So, we are doing, like I said, a points league using Yahoo default scoring. If you don't know what that is, it's 1 point per point, 1.2 points per rebound, 1.5 points per assist, 3 points per steal, 3 points per block, and -1 point for every turnover. That is Yahoo's default scoring. It used to be FanDuel's default scoring for DFS. I'm not sure that it still is. And it used to be the default scoring for NBA.com when they put up their fantasy things. And I'm not sure that it is. I think they may have changed it. In fact, maybe I should go and look at that. Let's have a look. There is some confusion on the Yahoo scoring. When I went in, I had a league on Yahoo set as a default category league. I went in and changed it to points, and then it made the default point settings different. It included field goals made and free throws attempted. It changed everything. But if you go in and from scratch and choose Points League as a default, it uses the default that I just mentioned. The 1.2 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. So I don't know what they're doing. We're going to run this with that setting, that old standard setting, but be aware that some weird stuff can happen. All right, let's jump into the draft room now. Get ready for it. I'm picking at 7. Matty G is in here as well. And yeah, we're a couple of minutes away from starting. 40 seconds, in fact. Might as well talk through this. Room is full, apart from this person who's named themselves Obi. I don't know if they're trying to be my dog, but that's not how you spell it. Yeah, it's going to be an intriguing draft to see how this plays out. First points mock for me of the season. At pick 7, you're going to have some interesting decisions. That's why I wanted to put myself here. I picked at 3 in the last one. I'm using my default playoffs for this one, which means we end on March the 22nd, which means you avoid that Jokic 2-game week, but you do have Shea going 3-3-3. So we'll see how that plays out. Everyone's in the room. Casey just dropped out, but he is here. All right, let's go. We are off and running in this mock. I would expect that Jokic goes 1. I would not be against Giannis going at 1 in a mock draft, to be honest. All right. What are we doing? Are you drafting Jive Turkeys? What is happening here? There we go. Jokic goes 1. Okay. Again, probably in a points league, totally reasonable decision. I do project Giannis to be marginally ahead of Jokic on a per-game basis. So we go Shea 2, Wemby 3. Wouldn't have done that. So I think that if Casey, who was there, has now appears... that is a good pick to get Giannis there. And then at number 5, James getting Doncic, I'm assuming that's what he'll do, is going to be pretty good value. I like these picks. And then Cade goes at 6, and now it's me. All right, so I better lock in here. What am I actually doing at this spot? Because Cade would have been my option. I think I'm going to take... I'm going to take Trae Young there. I'm going to take Trae Young at number 7. I've got Anthony Davis projected marginally ahead. Obviously, I'm slightly worried about Davis and games played, so I'm just going to go with what I think might be a little. I wouldn't take Trae there in a category league. In a points league, I am okay with getting him there. I think his numbers will be fine. I think there's going to be a raft of players in like the 48 to 45 fantasy point range, and one of those will be Anthony Davis. One of those could be Zion Williamson, who I'm not going to pick there. Ja Morant, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Josh Giddey might get 45 fantasy points, but I'm not willing to take those guys there. So I debated Anthony Edwards versus Trae Young. I wanted Trae Young. Again, part of what I do in these mock drafts is try to highlight some things that I think are interesting. Not that I would take Trae every time at 7. Most times I would take Edwards, or I'd take Davis sometimes. But I think in this first points mock draft, me taking Trae is me just highlighting, hey, I think we got to be really interested in Trae in points leagues, especially in that first round, and this particular style of points leagues with this Yahoo default scoring. So Edwards is 9, Edwards at 8, Davis goes at 9 to Matty G, Jimmy Harden goes to Obi at 10, and then Townsy at 11. Carl Anthony Towns is not worth that pick. He is not as good in points leagues as in category leagues. I think he's going to be worse this season than last season. I would not have done that. On the turn is Booker and Sabonis at 12 and 13, which I think is relatively reasonable. I don't really have too much of an issue with that. So actually, that's not true. Sabonis is probably a little bit high to me there. I've got Sabonis actually dropping back a little bit this season. Steph goes next, Steph is notoriously not as good in points leagues. I've got Steph as a 3rd-round points league player this season, so I wouldn't have done that. Jalen Johnson goes 14, Ja Morant 15. So Morant at 15 is interesting. I believe this is very much prime Josh Giddey range, and I'm going to take Josh Giddey if it comes to my pick. LaMelo Ball goes next. The other one I would consider here is Zion Williamson. I'm taking Giddey at this spot. You know that I don't believe in a lot of what Giddey did last season. But the way that it projects out to me makes sense that he would go here. I wouldn't do this in category leagues. I wouldn't take him here. And in fact, a lot of the time you can play the ADP game, which I'm not doing, because his draft rank on Yahoo is like 50 or something ridiculous, right? That I could probably wait a round or two to get him. But it's not what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to show you how we can value some of these guys. The next pick, which was Go Bulls, taking Paolo Banchero at 19, totally reasonable. I could have picked him at 16 if I wanted to. Again, if you had any faith in Zion Williamson, you would pick him here. I would pick Zion ahead of Morant Matty G picked him there. I think that Zion's upside is higher and there's possibly equal risk. Maybe you don't think there is. And if you don't think there's equal risk, totally cool. After Parlour goes Don Mitchell and then Tyrese Maxey. Maxey, maybe a little high. I don't know about that. We're getting to the stage where I am gonna have to throw Zion into my queue because my projections have him like as a top 10 points guy per game. After Maxey goes Durant, Evan Mobley at 23, so that's 24. The other name we're going to look, Scotty Barnes, we're going to start to look at here as well. And then LeBron goes at 24. Some interesting selections there. That is 2 rounds down. LeBron at 24 is reasonable. I like that. Amen Thompson should be starting to be considered here. Got a little bit of time until my pick. Jalen Brunson at 25. I don't believe I would have done that. I think that is around too early. Also, remember though, I say this. He's picking at 25. His next pick is not till 48. With the value and ranges of players gets squished a lot. So if you think that Brunson was in this area and you wanted him for whatever reason, take him. You're on the turn. You're not picking for 24 more picks. I think there's probably 10 or 8 or 15 more guys that I prefer in this area. But that's, again, when you're in the middle of the draft, a little bit different. You don't have as long to wait. At the ends of drafts, sometimes you make reaches because you're like, especially, this is more so in category leagues, because in points leagues, what are we trying to do? Who scores more fantasy points? In category leagues, you're like, I need assists here, and there's 24 picks to go until mine. I better get someone now, otherwise 8 guys could go and I'm done. Doesn't matter as much in points leagues. Not as big of a deal. So reaching on the turn is not as, say, justifiable in a points league as it is in a category league. After Brunson at 25, Siakam 26, Jalen Williams 27, Scott Barnes 28. That is pretty good value there for Barnesy. We are absolutely in Amen Thompson areas as well. And I'm going to have to make a call between Amen and Zion. And Şengün is in that spot for me as well. Well, I don't have to decide between Amen Thompson because he just went. And there goes Şengün, so I don't decide that one either. Do I roll the dice on Zion, who averaged 45 fantasy points a game last season? And I'm in round 3. Could it sink me? Obi says, I know Josh wanted him in. You're right, I would have taken him, but I'm going to... Yeah. Oh, let's roll it. Let's do it. This is, again, it's more of a... Right. Did I not push that? What is going on? Any chance of responding? You guys saw that on the screen. Yeah, Zion Williams has already been drafted by Josh. I know. I'm Josh. I don't know that I would do this in every... I wouldn't, because I'd like to diversify what I'm doing. But this is more about, like, Zion's a 45-point player. And we're talking about guys in this range that are probably 40-point players. Maybe 38-point players. It is risky, very clearly. I don't think there's much risk in injury-wise that we've seen from Trae Young or Josh Giddey. So, yeah. Again, one that I would... If I had 7 points drafts, I'd take Zion in 1 or 2 of them if we're in this spot. I wouldn't do it in all of them. It's about taking that chance, I guess. De'Aaron Fox goes after him, which... I don't know. I'm not... maybe. I don't hate it. I do like the next pick. I do like Tyler Hero going there. Bam Adebayo, Jaren Jackson, these guys should start to go in this spot. Franz Wagner. I don't know about that one. I think Franz is going to be down ticking. What did Franz average last season in Yahoo Points? 40.6. Yeah, I don't think he hits that this year. Bam Adebayo is a very strong pick from you, John Juzhang. While I don't like your Towns and Curry picks, I think getting Bam there is very good. One player that I'm surprised has fallen down here is Jaylen Brown. Jaren Jackson was the other one. He just went. So that's your top first 3 rounds done. Embiid's still on the board. I'm not touching him inside the first 4 rounds. I will not do it. Not doing that at all. There goes Jaylen Brown. There is risk, obviously, with Jaylen Brown. There's obviously risk, but I like it. We're also getting to the stage where I'm surprised nobody has jumped on Denny Avdia here. I thought that given my concerns with his game and when it spiked, that I'd be low on Denny. It feels like I'm not. It feels like I'm higher on him than a lot of people. Cooper Flag. All right, let's go, John Juzang. Your team is, it's intriguing. It's intriguing. Dyson Daniels from Obi. Yeah, in a points league, absolutely not. Absolutely no chance. That is way too high. Matty G takes... Matty G, can you go and... No, thank you, Matt. I would... I'm going to... Yeah, what am I? I'm playing for the headmaster here. Jamal Murray in my slot. What is Lou doing? Louis? I do need a center eligible player at some point. Not stressing about it. There goes Chesterfield Holmgren. So Jamal Murray, Walker Kessler maybe? I don't know. Zubats? Vooch? Nope. Let's take the headmaster, Jamal Murray. Okay. So I've got my follicularly challenged players in Trae Young and Jamal Murray. And I've got Zion and Josh Giddey. And if you know what I mean by follicularly challenged, Ivica Zubats goes next at 43. This is a fine area for Zubats. I don't think that we're going to... Like, Zubats was obviously very awesome last season. He averaged 44 a game over the final 2 weeks of the season. I don't think he's doing that. But this is fine in a points format. I think we're getting into the Vooch territory. Mark Williams, if you want to take that risk. The 3 guys per game at the top of my list, though, are Embiid, it's Kawhi, and it's Porzingis. But we all know why they're not going. But they're sitting there at the top of the list at the moment. Derek White just goes after Zubats at pick number 44. That's reasonable. I think Walker Kessler, you can almost throw him into that risky group because you just don't know how much he's going to play, and same with Mark Williams. So the top 5 guys on my per-game list all have significant question marks. Jalen Green, wowee. Vooch in that spot is okay. The worry I have with Vooch, I think he can produce here, right? Maybe he's okay here, but I do think that second half of the season, he's going to be a backup somewhere. Second half at best, which is a worry. Miles Turner is actually fine there. I think that's totally reasonable to get Miles Turner in that spot. And now we go to the final pick of round 4. I expect that this jive-ass turkey guy will take Embiid on the turn. Round 5 seems to be the area that people take Embiid, and if you got the first pick of round 5, maybe you do it. He took Julius Randle at 48. I won't be taking Embiid, especially after I took Zion. Now, you could make an argument that, hey, let's take Embiid and Zion. If it hits, the league is over, right? If they both play 60 games, we win the league without question. But the chance, what's that, like a 5% chance that they're both playing 60 games? Less? I don't want to combine that. But if you are in a spot where you go, I want to just go balls out. Say you're picking at 12, right? Like, if your only chance is to hit on these players playing enough games, maybe you consider it. There goes Embiid. Michael Poop Cookie Porter goes at 49. Embiid goes at 50. Okay. Desmond Bain at 51. Do I like Desmond Bain there? I'm going to say probably not, to be honest. Where on earth is Desmond Bain in these projections? Not high. Yeah, it's not high. All right. I'm going to just throw Walker Kessler into the queue. Jordan Poole goes at 52. I don't know why Jive-Ass Turkeys thinks that someone saying holy is responding to him taking Porter. It could be any of the 3 picks after that. Porter might average 25 to 30, and he might not play after the All-Star break. That is the risk. That is why we're worried about him. I think Alex Sarr is going to end up being a pretty interesting player in this area. I also think Brandon Miller. Austin Reeves. It's an auto pick, but why are we auto picking Jimmy? All right. I don't mind that, actually. That's actually okay. Now, do I like... I don't think I want to take Kessler here. I'm worried about how much he plays. Kobe White... Oh, he's my pick. What am I going to do? All right, let's take Brandon Miller here. I don't love this from I don't like watching Brandon Miller play perspective. I think fantasy points wise, it's fine. I think he's a top 50 guy. I get him at Trey Murphy 56. Kobe White went at 54 as well. I didn't think that, but that's the guy by the name of Go Bulls. Someone said in the chat there, tell him who played more games over the last whatever years, Cam Johnson or Michael Porter. It's Michael Porter. Kawhi goes at 57. We are, again, if I hadn't have taken Zion, I would be all over Porzingis in this area. So I'm going to put him in my queue as well because we're getting to that area. So it goes Brandon Miller from me, Trey Murphy, Kawhi. Oh, there goes Mark Williams. That's good from you, Obi. I like that pick there. There's a lot of centers I have projected here. Sarr and Pirtle as well. James Butler. DeAndre Ayton. Not the Butler's a center. Zach Edey, but he's injured to start the season, so we'll knock him back a bit. I like Johnny Juzang in this draft. A, good team name. But B, he's doing shit that is just completely different to what I think, and I love that in a draft. I want someone that's just got completely different thoughts. I don't want someone parroting everything that I think or say. And if you parrot what I think you say, I don't think you're the smart. I think you're very smart because you're obviously following me, who's incredibly smart. Not really. But I want someone to just do stuff that's their own thoughts, their different thoughts, because who knows how it's going to turn out. I wouldn't take Zach LaVine there necessarily, but I'm not going to write it off. Darius Garland at 60. I like that. Obviously, we're somewhat concerned that he's not available to begin the season, but I think it's okay. Jalen Duren, the passport legend, at 61. So I'm just debating what I'm going to do because I've got Walker Kessler and Kristaps Porzingis there, who I think very comfortably are going to be better than pick 66 per game, like very comfortably. But the risk is there. Like, I don't think there's risk in Young or Giddey, Murray, small amount in Miller. I'm not that worried. I don't believe that a wrist surgery is something that's going to happen every year. I'm not worried about that part of it. Zion's the concern. Do I double it down and take Porzingis? I think Porzingis is going to sit every back-to-back. So that's my worry. And then you've got the Walker Kessler conundrum. Still don't have a center, do I? Okay. Jim Butler goes. All right. But I could take Pirtle. I could take Sarr. I think I'm going to leave Sarr for later on. Well, I'm not going to take Pirtle because he just went. And I'm not going to take Sarr because he just went as well. So thank you for, A, telling me how smart I was to consider those two players, but also taking them away from me and putting me back into this Kessler scenario. There goes Emmanuel quickly as well. Okay. All right. You know what? Let's do it. Let's take Kessler there. And I hope we get 60 plus out of him. I hope. Helps me get myself that center eligible player. I'm going to need more of them, obviously. And a lot just went. Williams, Pirtle, Sarr, Duren, who all were in my firing line. Interesting again, Porzingis, still available. Throw OG into my queue. Throw DeRozan in there too. Miles Bridges from Go Bulls was another one that I considered. I didn't say it out loud. Shaden Sharp should be considered here. Ayton, Ingram, DeRozan, Gobert. I don't think I'm going to be doubling down on another Jazz guy, to be honest. Shaden Sharp is also a name that I'm going to put in my queue because there's a lot of... I don't know what's happening in Portland. I don't know how they're going to run things, but I think if Sharp hits 30-plus minutes, he will be around this mark, if not better. What did Sharp average last season? 46 a game over the last 2 weeks, which was good for 15th. Interesting. He averaged 29 total for the season. 104th that was. It'd be a risk taking him in round 7, because my next pick is 70. Or is it though? 79? Is that a risk? I don't know. Ayton, Gobert, and Anobi Van Vliet to round out round 6. Porzingis still there. I'm not doing it, because I took Kessler and Zion. I'm not doing that with Porzingis. But he should start to go. A lot of these guys here, like Zach Edey, injured. Cam Thomas, not signed. Porzingis, we know who he is. DeRozan, okay. Paul George, maybe? There goes Lowry Markkanen, which is a very reasonable spot to take Lowry. Josh the Hitman Hart, it's an incompletely not reasonable spot to take Hart, although to be fair, I don't hate it there. DeRozan, I like that from you. Adhami, that's a strong pick. I feel like I'm going to be put in the spot to take Brandon Ingram, and I don't like that. I don't feel good about that. Not that I have to. I can do whatever the hell I want. But yeah, is it Ingram or Sharp, or do I take Ingram and then Sharp it back on the other way around? Peyton Pritchard went at 76, which I do like, but like a lot of Celtics, there is risk of shenaniganizing. But there also could be a situation where White and Brown are out, and Pritchard sees a bump and runs top 40 for a month, and then he sits out with an injury. Wouldn't rule that out. James takes Mikal Bridges. I'm good on that. I'm fine. I'm not interested. Still, no Porzingis. We are getting to the stage. If Porzingis is there for me in round 8, I'm just going to take him. Surely someone jumps on before then, because we are talking about a top 40 per game. Norman Powell, I hate that pick. I hate it. I don't know, man. I hate it. Let's do Ingram, and then we'll consider Ingram. Why? I hate it. I hate Ingram. Why have I got too many Brandons on my team? I want... Yeah, Sharp is the guy for me next round. Edie should be here as well, but he's going to be out. It's a tough call. Same with Paul George. It's tough. And then we start to get into flyer territory. And I've got some interesting names we're going to bring up. Oh, there goes Porzingis. I like that from you, Lou. And Matty G. He took Shaden Sharp. Matthew, that is both Denny Avdia. Not both. That is Denny Avdia, Alex Sarr, and Shaden Sharp that you took from me. I don't know. You looking at my projections, perhaps? Perhaps, Matty? I don't know. All right. Cameron Johnson. Fine, sure, whatever. Cam Johnson last season, though, 87th in points leagues. Where did he get picked here? 82nd. Oh, actually, you know what? Nah. Sorry, Abby. No. Let's see what John Juzhang is doing. Isaiah Hartenstein. Yeah, that's okay. Again, there are guys I have ahead of him, but who cares? It's okay there. Again, I think that if we had some stability on Cam Thomas, we should be looking at him here, but we don't. Asar Thompson is... RJ Barrett? Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. But look, we're also getting to the stage here, guys, where it's pick 85 and like no one's taken Paul George. I don't really want to, but at what point does it just become stupid to not take Paul George? There goes Malik. That I hate. Malik Monk. What I don't understand. We might have different views on that rotation, but that makes no sense to me. No sense at all. Well, there goes Paul George. I don't have to make that decision. Paul George last season was 70th in points league, so he's at 86 with an injury. Okay, fair enough. But he also was horrendous per game. John Collins. Early. Feels early. I actually just have no idea what I'm going to do here. Cam Thomas is interesting. Zach Edey is interesting. A lot of question marks about them. There goes Cam Thomas to Matty G. There goes Donovan Klinger. What am I doing here? Asar Thompson. All right, I'm taking Asar Thompson. I probably could have let him go a little bit more. I do worry about the minutes that Bickerstaff gives him. I could have taken Jaden Ivey as well in this spot, both obviously from the Pistons. But I didn't. I think Andrew Wiggins needs to be in consideration here. And then we are what, 8 rounds in? I'm not fully going flyer zone here, but like I think a Kongwu is clearly an option. I will actually target a Kongwu if he gets back. So after Asar goes Christian Braun, which, I'm not interested in that one particularly. He was 106 last season, but no. Andy Nembhard after that, I worry about his ability to scale up a huge amount, but that's okay. Kongwu went. Simons, sure, but A, might not play for Boston. B, might come off the bench. Too many downside risks there that I just don't know what's going to play out. Toby Harris is the thick hogsman. We know what he is. He is relatively stable in this area. We're into a stage where one of the names I'm going to throw up, and I'm not going to draft him yet, I'm just going to put Benny Mathurin onto the list. Brad Beal goes at 96 and Jaden Ivey 97. I like the Ivey pick. The Beal pick is totally fine as well. I'm also going to put, again, this is where sometimes I have to suspend what I'm doing. I hate watching Kevin Porter play. I hate watching Benny Mathurin play. I don't think it's exciting. I don't like the way they play. But I'm also realizing that opportunity is going to come their way in a pretty big way. I'm going to throw... Do I do it again and double down on this? Like, I'll maybe just throw the name of Matos Bazelis out there because I took him in the category mock. Andy Wiggins is a good pick from you, Eric. And again, I just want to highlight Bazelis' potential value here. I don't necessarily need to take him there, but I do want to highlight that value. Also, let's just quickly chuck Scoot into the queue. We're not full flyer territory yet. Devin Vassell goes at 99. Okay. Another name for me to throw in here is Khalil Ware, big Superman, who I worried about the Spolstra jerk. You know, I'm sure you know the Spolstra jerk. Casey takes Steph Castle. Not as, I don't hate it as much as you think I do. I think it's okay here. I've got a lot of guys that I'd rather have ahead of him, but I don't hate it. Also, at some point, we've got to take Zach Edey. I do have injury risks. I've got the Kessler fake injury risk, and I've got Zion. I think Edey smashes this mark if he is healthy. And he won't be. He won't be healthy to start the season. That's part of the problem. There goes Bazelis. Jason Tatum sits at the top of this queue for whatever insane reason. Please, Fantrax, make him rank 500th. Get him out of this queue. DeJounte Murray, absolute no way. No way you should take him there. I hate that pick. I am going to... I don't. Will Edey fall? Throw Tamani Kamara in the queue too. I'm going to snag Mathurin, even though I just don't like it. I need another center, like badly. It's a 2-center league. It's Yahoo default, the insane setup. There goes Scoot. So I'm going to want Ware or Edey with this next pick. I'm going to throw Claxton into this queue. Did someone just go? Oh, Kevin Porter out of my queue. Matty is 100% using my projections, which is great. Good for him. And that means he's going to take Khalil Ware with the next pick. No, Obi took it. Obi, can you go and eat shit as well? I should have not taken Mathurin and gone with the second center there. That's going to annoy me. Let's throw Naz Reid into the queue as well. Well, no point throwing him into the queue because John Juzang just took him. It's okay. That's okay. There goes Quentin Grimy Grimes, which I don't know. Again, H, I love it. I love that you've got different thoughts, but RJ Barrett, hate the pick. Malik Monk, hate the pick. Quentin Grimes, despise the pick. To me, there is just no... You're talking about starters on your team. CJ McCollum there, fine. Right. Having your 7th, 8th, and 9th best player be Barrett, Monk, Grimes, I don't like that. There's too much downside in that. I'm going to be stuck with Nick Claxton, aren't I? There goes Kyrie. I would not do that. Let me check. He's got Paul George too. Ugh, and he's got Jimmy Butler. Oh, no. Kyrie's going to be out until February. Kyrie might not play this season. Perhaps. Yeah, it's just too early. There's no need for it. Absolutely no need. If Matty G takes Zach Edey here, I'm going to kick him in the dick. God, Matty! Okay. Now, it's got to be Claxton for me here. Lou is not rolling my projections. Or maybe he is, because Klingon and Henderson were top of my list, and so was Porzingis, so was Quickly. Yeah, maybe he is. I did! Of course he did! Of course he did! Now I'm cooked. So that was a bad call for me to take Mathurin over a center, because now I don't have a center. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do here? Oh my god. I'm taking Santi Aldama. I hate this pick. I just needed a center eligible player. I could have taken Draymond there. That's disgusting. That's shit from me. That's really bad. That annoys me that 4 centers went in 10 picks there. Huh. Kyle Filipowski goes next. Hard for me to criticize it considering I just took Santi Aldama, but it's marginally high. Daniel Gafford, good value early that will fade. If Derek Lively was healthy to start the season, we would feel okay about that. I tell you what, the next one's interesting because he doesn't have this eligibility everywhere, but John Kuminga's got center eligibility for some reason on Fantrax. I don't really know why. I do need another center here because I'm not relying upon Santi Aldama, for God's sake. Oh, man. Because even like the flyer centers like Luka Garza or even that's disgusting, Jay Huff. I don't think they're great points league guys. There goes Kuminga. Well, I can't do that one. There goes Bob Portis. Yeah. I might, you know what, just for the sake of it, Taman Kamara's still available, which he shouldn't be. Kuminga, Portis, Suggs, and Lively. Lively's solid enough there. Like, do I make sure I get the third center? I know you can't answer me in real time. Do I make sure I get the third center at my next pick, or do I take the guy that is clearly the best option available, and that's Tamani Kamara? I don't think Kamara's going to last back to me. I think I might take Draymond. Keontae George is an interesting flyer. We are firmly flyer territory now, but I do need that center. So maybe I just do Huff. Projections aren't great, but he could really pop. We're in the should I take a flyer on Ace Bailey zone as well. But Kamara just projects so much better here. What happened to this last pick, to Eric's pick? Did it not pick? Oh, there it is. This didn't update. Dante DiVincenzo, the big ragu. Okay. Could be the starting point guard for the Wolves. Could not be, but he could be. That is an auto pick. I am reversing that. Jason Tatum is not getting picked. I don't know where this guy is. Let's resume the draft. There's no point. Like, you can have debates on Kyrie or DeJounte Murray. You're not picking Tatum. Drew Holiday. All right. Is that any better than Jason Tatum? It is, because he's available. He's playing. I don't love it. It's fine. We're in a zone here where there's just a lot of wings and guards, which is worth noting. All right, it's worth remembering that. Brandon Pajemski. I like it. I'm getting to the stage. Do I take Kamara or do I take Huff? Because it's insane to me that Kamara is actually just still sitting there. And he's not like he's not visible. He's at the top of the queue here behind Tatum and Green. Why are people not taking him? I guess they think limited upside, which I get. I understand that. Is Jim, are you here? Are you left? There he is. Eve Misi. Again, hard for me to say anything after I took Santi Aldama, but he's a very unexciting player. There goes Kamara. So the decision's out of my hands. Let's Huff. All right. So do I love those picks? I'd be an idiot if I did. What is the interest now we get into flyer spots? Do you consider somebody like Draymond Green a flyer? Not really. Do you consider DeAndre Hunter a flyer? Not really. Is Kyle Kuzma better than a flyer? Not really. Bilal, Aaron Gordon, Scott Pippen. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw it out there. I don't know why caps lock is on. I'm taking Ace with my pick because I don't think Ace Bailey has much of a hope in category leagues. Jared McCain's an interesting pick. Of course, it's from my man Johnny Juzang. I I don't know if he's going to do enough. But Jeremy Grant, God, absolutely kill me if I'm taking Jeremy Grant. No, that's not true. He's fine. What was I going to say? I wouldn't take Ace Bailey in a category league in this spot, even though it is flyer territory. I'm much happier with him for a points league. Keegan Murray also should be going, but we're in that spot. Like, is there any upside in Keegan? Not really. Will he be around this mark? Probably. You debate whether you think that makes sense, like taking Rui Hachimura there, which, again, I love you, Aram. I love what you've done. I love that you take all these guys that I just hate, like Hachimura, Grant, Grimes, Mark. I don't hate Grimes. I hate the spots for him. CJ, like, ugh. I like that from you, John, taking Cam Whitmore. I don't know that he starts. If he does, you actually blow that away if Cam Whitmore starts. It's unlikely. We're getting also to the stage where why is Draymond... I know why. Draymond was a top 100 points league player last season. Top 100. Now, he will sit games. Again, undo last pick. You're there, Obi. Take somebody. Oh, he took Draymond. There you go. Well, he made the pick, didn't he? Matty G. Is this TJ McConnell from Matty G? Yes, it is. Thanks, Matty. Thanks, Matty. Be like Matty and you can become a member of Basketball Monster. You can use our projections and our draft tracker to do your drafts. Yegor Newman. Okay. Let's double down on rookies. I'm taking Arius Bailey at pick 138. As Yeoman goes at 137. This, look, at the top of my projections, Keegan Murray, DeAndre Hunter. I don't think there's any upside in that. What's the point of those players there? Like, will they be good? Fine. Like Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Kuzma. Who cares? Aaron Nesmith. Don't care. Karis LeVert. Blech. Like, all right. Who's got the chance to pop? So after I took Ace, goes D'Angelo Russell. He does have a chance to pop. Then goes the Dominatrix, VJ Edgecombe. When will the episode come out? Like today. Someone said. Yeah, so like Casey taking DeAndre Hunter. This is where when you're using Basketball Monster and you're using Draft Tracker, be cautious about the projected standings because they will, like the safer plays, it will value. Because it will say, well, we think this guy will average 29 fantasy points. And that's great, but I can find 30, 27 fantasy point guys off the waiver wire. So while if you want to make your projected standings look good, you take Kyle Kuzma, DeAndre Hunter, Dennis Schroeder, and go, look at that, my numbers look great. But it doesn't give you the upside you need. It doesn't give you the ability to take a flyer on Dyson Daniels. It picked in round 13 and he ends up as high as he does. It doesn't, like 2 years ago, let you take the flyer on Jalen Johnson because you're going for safety. And I don't like to draft that way. It depends what I've done in the earlier rounds. Like I've got some risk with Zion. I've got that shit pick of Santi Aldama that I probably need a little bit more safety with at least one of these picks. Now, Zach Collins goes at the end. Herb Jones goes. Colin Sexton, Herb Jones, Zach Collins. Sexton to me, the epitome of the safe, what are we doing pick. Collins to me was someone I took in the... Now, he had a timer expired on that, but that he was definitely in the queue, so that's okay. And then Keon Ellis. I don't like Keon in a points league at all. Collins, to me, was someone you could have looked at. There was rumors that Vooch wouldn't be there opening night and they'd buy him out. Now it appears that stance has changed in Chicago, so I'm not drafting Zach Collins unless that changes back. But when I did the mock a week and a half ago, the report was that Vooch would be bought out before opening night or was leaning that way. It's not now. Oh, Malik Beasley, unsigned, but cleared allegedly. Not allegedly. They said that he's no longer a target of the investigation. Whether the NBA does anything with that, I don't know. I'd bet that he's suspended somehow. I don't know. It's very weird. We'll see where that goes. But currently not on a team. Don't think I'd bother with it, to be honest. But yeah, even in a points league doesn't really make sense. Bub Carrington, Paul Washington Jr. goes at 148, which sort of does fit into a little bit of an upside play. I'm going to put Risa Shea in my queue here. I think he's going to start. There's upside in him, second-year player. Or the other guy I'm going to throw in there is Obi Toppin, in case he gets a larger share of center minutes, and I've got Jay Huff there to buffer that. The big areola, Conker nipple goes. That is an upside play. Keegan Murray is not an upside play, which is okay. Let's take Zach Ricochet here. Rosh Hashanah, am I pronouncing that correctly? Udonis? Adembona. Like it. Did you take Embiid? You didn't. Adembona, I hope, is the backup and is maybe opening night starting center because Andre Drummond's washed and Embiid is Embiid. I like it. I like your Bona pick, Lou. I like it. Really good. It's a smart pick. I'm going to put Tari Eason in my queue. I'm not sure that you consider him a flyer as such because I don't know where the path is to big minutes. Like Luka Garza, that's a flyer pick. We know what that is. Someone taking Chris Boucher is a flyer pick. Someone going balls out and saying Josh Minort's winning the power forward job. That's a risky pick. You never know. Another one to take, considering an upside spot here, is Isaiah Collier or Chris Boucher. There goes Dylan Harper. Why not? That guy's gone full upside. I thought I had another pick left. I forgot it's only 13 rounds. That's my bad again. So Dylan Harper and Isaiah Collier rounds it out. So the best players undrafted to me. And some of them are the guys that I talk about that you don't want. I don't love taking in the last rounds because where's the upside? Like Tari Eason probably should have gone. Dennis Schroeder, Chris Middleton, Kyle Kuzma, Neesmith, LeVert, Jordan Clarkson, Ty Jerome, Max Strus, Jabari Smith. I think Obi Toppin and Chris Boucher fit into a bit more upside there. Kelly Oubre, whatever. Day'Ron Sharpe, Ryan Dunn, not really sure about it. But overall, I think we did pretty well in this draft. I think the results of it are pretty strong. I'm going to just go in and highlight my team again and talk through my picks. So I picked at 7. So I started with Trae Young, then Josh Giddey, then Zion Williamson, Jamal Murray, Brandon Miller, Walker Kessler, Brandon Ingram. I don't like that I'm ending up with Miller and Ingram, the two Brandons in leagues. Maybe I need to recalibrate what my projections are on those guys. I don't like that. Asar Thompson, Ben Mathurin, messed up on the Mathurin pick. Should have taken a center. Didn't expect 4 out of the next 10 picks to be centers, but it was, and it killed me. Then I took Aldama, which I hate. Jay Huff, Ace Bailey, Zach Ricochet for my final 3 picks. And that's the mock draft. Congratulations to everyone involved. It went off pretty smoothly. I love that. So, you know what to do. There'll be more mock drafts coming. We'll use ESPN default scoring. We'll do one on Yahoo. We'll do category leagues. We'll do 10s and 14s and 16s and 20s and 30s. And we'll do multiple auctions. And we'll do points auctions, which I don't think I've ever done before. But we'll do it at some point this season. In the meantime, if you hit subscribe, you'll never miss one of them. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.